Okay, I think I figured out the mic issue. Yay! Okay, I figured it out. Sorry about that, guys. And thanks for letting me know you couldn't hear me because I was talking away and I had no idea my mic wasn't working. It did that to me earlier and I don't know why. I guess I'm gonna have to go mess with some settings later. Alright, so quick update before we get into everything. The internet has been fixed yet again. They are supposed to come bury the line on the 22nd. I had previously blockaded it because the puppy chewed through the line, but apparently he thought the blockade was hurdles in an obstacle course because he chewed through the line again. And then that's what happened the other day when I was reading. And then I came back and I tried to finish it on my phone, but that also did not go well. And so we had to take part 13 down, unfortunately. So sorry about that. I have improved the blockade and they are supposed to come bury the line on the 22nd. So I plan on getting right back into the reading this weekend and hopefully the puppy does not chew through the line again. So sorry. The first weekend I had an out-of-town appointment. The second weekend I had some family stuff going on. And the third weekend, the puppy chewed through my internet line while I was reading to you guys. So sorry about that. We will pick that back up. Tonight is not a book club night. However, I just thought I would bring that update because it's been too long and I owe you guys a big apology. Tobin, I don't care if you have a stable connection. I'm not going to get on to you about cutting out or robot voice. I might tell you I didn't hear something, but that's about the extent of it. It's not going to bother me. If it's frustrating for you, you don't have to come up, but you know, if it's something you want to try out, like I'm not opposed to it and it's certainly not going to bother me. All right. So my title. Does anybody know what that title means? I don't know if you, I'm sure you guys can Google it. It's just Latin. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot lately. Just all kinds of thoughts, mainly in those two categories. One of those categories of thought I am very, very good expressing myself with, right? But that other category of thought, I really struggle expressing. And it's funny because people think that I do, and they think that they know those type of thoughts, but they do not. Been thinking about that too. It's been really weird. Also economics, but Serb is not here, so I cannot harass Serb about economics at the moment. Hey, Spooky. So, the first word in my title is a type of thought that's connected to learning, to taking in information. And the second word, or the last word, the second word is just a connector. It just means and or moreover or but or however. But the third word in my title is another type of thought. But that type of thought means like it's connected to decisions and opinions. And I'm really good at expressing the first one. And I'm really good at using things I've picked up from other people's second one to express in my first one. But I've come to realize that because I do that and I don't express the second type of thought, people are under the impression that they know my opinions. And at first it didn't bother me. But now I look at some of those things that they think I think, or those opinions that they think I hold. And I think for the first time in my entire life, starting to bother me. Because before I didn't give a fuck, right? Like hey, I'm I never cared, right? But I'm starting to care, and I don't know if I like that. Now, the first type of thought is the thought that's tied to learning and processing information and collecting information. The second type of thought in my title is like decisions and opinions. And I don't generally express that second type of thought, but people think I do. And because of that, they think they know what those kinds of thoughts I have are. And like I said, like usually it doesn't bother me. And usually I don't even stick around long enough to care, right? I'm usually gone. I'm somewhere else. I'm not here anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter. But now it's starting to bother me. And maybe it's because I've stuck around too long. Maybe it's because I want to stick around. I don't know. But I don't know if I like caring or not. So that's one of the many, many things I've been pondering. Also, hey, Wild.
Hi, Victor. How's it going? It's over. Good sleep.
Oh,
Hello.
you know me, no complaints. I'm still breathing after all, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a minimum. Yeah, but I would say
Hey, Batman.
you shouldn't care.
No, it's not. Okay, let me put it this way. It's not that I care if somebody likes me or not. I still don't. I still don't care.
Yeah,
What's starting to but previously I was in a spot where like I don't even care if you know me or not, and I don't feel the need to correct you, right? Like I'll just laugh at you because I'm
yeah,
probably not going to be here in 6 months anyway, right? But now when somebody says something and they're like, "You believe this or you think that," like it's not as easy to laugh off. I'm like, "But I don't. I
oh,
I I
yeah,
don't believe that, and it's really weird that you keep telling me I believe that when I keep telling you I don't believe that." It's like
yeah,
they because I'm so bad at expressing my actual opinions, they think they know my opinions better than I know my opinions, and that is what's starting to bother me.
yeah. That
It's a
is an
cognitive distortion called mind reading. When people think they know what you're thinking,
yeah,
it's an actual like cognitive behavioral problem that is popular with people.
Right, but in this case, I can't put it all off on them, right? Because like
Mm.
we say, back to my title, I'm really good at that first one, right? I'm really good at using words to get the information I want. And so when I jump up on a panel, I may be using an argument that I don't agree with at all.
yeah,
But the reason I'm using that argument is because I'm interested in not your opinion. You've already given me your opinion. I'm interested in the reasoning behind your opinion. And the type of argument I'm using or the type of questions I'm asking is designed to get a closer look at that reasoning, not your opinion, the reasoning behind your opinion.
yeah,
I think these things are fascinating, and B, if anything is going to influence me or to get me to change my mind, it's not your opinion, it's the way you've processed and the way you've reasoned that opinion, right? Here's where I am terrible and I leave the door open for misinterpretation, right? Like cuz I'm not saying that anybody's being malicious here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm really good at that part, right? And I collect all the information and then I go and I sit by myself and I piece all this information together and I make all these correlations and these connections and then I form or change or reform or adapt my opinion, right? But here's where I fail. Once I do that, I don't share that, right? And in the past, it didn't matter because I never stuck around any place long enough for it to matter, right? I was up, I was gone, I built the connections between people I thought were going to go great, and I left, right? And so here I am, and I find myself in this little community here, on the fringes of this little community here, let me be more accurate. And I haven't left yet. There was once or twice I felt like I was going to, right? I was itching, I was ready to go, but I didn't. And I don't know that I want to. And so I find myself in this conundrum, right? Like, either I have to be okay with, because of my pattern, people thinking that they know things about me they don't know, right? Or I have to be okay with with like flipping my usual process, right? Most people I'm backwards from most people. I get that. Most people, they think and they think and they think, and then they come out here and they say, this is what I think, help me tear it apart or validate it or whatever, right? I am backwards. I come out here and I say, this is an opinion and that's an opinion and this is an opinion. And I get all this information and I take it and then I form my connections and then I don't talk about it, right? So I'm not saying that this is like anybody else's fault or that anybody else is malicious. I'm not putting it off on anybody else. I'm just in this really weird spot, and it's one of many things I've been pondering lately.
I think I can solve that problem, Pixie. I think you're too intelligent. Not too intelligent, but I think that's what causes it. I have the same problem. Most people don't think about. Yeah, I think that's it. Most people don't think about things, and when you do, it's not always good.
No, I just think I'm backwards. I think I process it backwards. I think most people think about things internally, and then once they have their conclusion or their opinion, then they talk about that externally. They bring that to other people, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's why when people, I don't do that, right? I'm backwards. When I am talking to people, that
Yeah.
is me thinking and processing information and gathering information.
Yeah.
I don't actually form my opinions or alter my opinions or sit down to break it down and make all the correlations until the conversation's over and everything's done, right? And so I think because most people are backwards from me and they are bringing their actual opinions, they think that I am too, right? And so it's not anybody's fault. It's just that I have to be okay with it, or I have to figure out how to do that differently.
Yeah, I would say that's why it's best not to care. Just don't care what other people think of you because you can't affect it.
But
Just
that's the problem. That's the problem. It's
yeah,
not,
yeah,
the problem is it's not what they think of me, it's what they think of whatever illusion they have in their head, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then
But
it's hard to correct that because they already think that.
yeah, that's what I mean. You can't affect that. You can't affect how other people see you. You've just got to be you, and then because no matter what you do, like 10 people could, be watching the stream, and 3 people think it's good, 3 people think it's bad. You're never gonna please everyone. And
But
and
I'm not talking about,
yeah.
yeah, but I'm not talking about my personality, right? Like obviously my personality's not for everyone. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not even talking about that. There are people's personalities I don't like, right? Like Jill and Irenic, they're bad jokes.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck, right? Like
that's
don't
correct.
care. I'm not talking about my personality. I'm not even talking about like the way I process information, right? I'm saying like, because I don't voice my opinions, people think that people take what I have said in conversation and project an opinion they think I hold onto me, even when they're wrong. And that's what bothers me, right? Because it, at that point, you don't honestly think anything about me. It's just this thing you've built up in your head, right? And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that that's their fault. It's because I have a habit of being like
No.
really closed off with my actual stance on anything.
No, it's the same. If someone has the wrong opinion about you or anything you said, again, there's nothing you can do about that, and it's their problem. It's not yours. It's not your
Yes
problem.
and no.
They misunderstood what you said. You know what I
Yes, yeah, yes and no, because they didn't misunderstand what I said. That's the problem.
mean? Right.
They didn't misunderstand what I said. The problem is what I said to gather information. I didn't say it because that's the hill I stood on, right?
Yeah.
And there's that misinterpretation. So either I have to change that, or I have to just be completely okay with almost misrepresenting myself. Because if I know that that's how people are going to take it, is that not what I'm doing?
I think I can solve that now.
No, you can't guilt yourself for how people think. If you're collecting data and you're collecting it the best way you know how, why change it?
Yeah. Plus, if you just every time you're doing that, if you're giving something that isn't your opinion, just put like to play devil's advocate, make it clear that this is not your opinion. I think that might solve it as well.
I shall try.
Yeah. It's just a thought. It might not work, to be fair, but
sometimes it's really fun. It's sometimes
yeah.
and not just is it really fun to be indirect, but sometimes you get more information when you're indirect, right? Like if I say I'm playing devil's advocate, right? Their reaction is immediately toned down. Immediately. Their reaction is immediately less intense. And I don't mean just like in tone or excitement or retaliation. I mean like the thoroughness or the way in which they approach their response is different than if they think I'm really questioning them.
Yeah, they're gonna change the answers. Yeah. Yeah.
And, right? And so, like I said, the conundrum is I have a soft spot for you guys, and you guys have won me over a little bit. And so I've never really been in any spot long enough to give a shit. And now I am. So it is one of the many, many, many things I've been pondering lately. Also, where is Serb when you need him? Because I need to harass him with stupid questions about. Speaking of stupid questions, I want to play really, really dumb with, just because I need somebody who knows more than me to explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I need Serb. I need Serb at some point because I have some economy questions.
Yeah, the economics expert. Well, I have a stupid question for you, Pixie. Talking about the title of your video, what is that? What does that mean? Is
Okay, so I'm going to break it down for you. It's Latin.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's what we've been talking about. The first word I'm really good at. That is a type of thought. It means thought or thoughts, but it's correlated with the type of thought you use when you are processing information, when you're learning and gathering information and absorbing information. That's those kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
And
Cognitive.
yeah, as I said, I'm really good at expressing those, even if they're not my own, right? Okay, the second word just means and or but or however or moreover. It's a connector word.
Yeah.
That third word is also thoughts, but it's another type of thoughts, and this is the one I struggle with sharing. This is the type of thoughts connected to your decisions and your opinions.
Yeah. So it's one kind of thought or another
kind of thought. Yeah, and it's not only those. I think there's at least one more. There may be two more. You know, Latin does that though.
Oh yes. And,
Like
yeah,
there's Like everybody knows deja vu, but there's actually like deja vu, presque vu, and Jaime's vu. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I've not
You
heard
didn't.
of
See,
the
like everybody leaves those out. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of deja vu. Yeah, so
But
what are the other ones? No.
okay, so you know, deja vu is the feeling like you've been there even though you haven't, right?
Yeah,
All right.
like precognition kind of thing.
So Hamaisvu is the opposite of that. It's you're somewhere or you're with people or you're in a situation and you know it should be familiar that you've done this before, but for some reason it feels unfamiliar.
Yeah. I
So
think
it's
of it.
so that's the opposite of deja vu. And presque vu is like it's on the tip of my tongue. You know, when people say it's on the tip of my tongue,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't. That's presque vu.
Yeah. All to do with thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah. Deja vu. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's good. And again, you are just way too intelligent.
No, no, I'm insatiably curious. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad thing. Yeah, yeah. No, it's good to be. Yeah.
I don't think I'm particularly smart or bright or intelligent or anything like that. I do think I'm pretty insatiably curious at times.
Yeah. No, you are very intelligent as well, but that's fine.
I'm starting to get like to a point to where I'm kind of experiencing like a paralysis of decision making. Lately, like all of my decisions have kind of turned out poorly, and like I need to make a decision, and I don't know if I should do it or not. Like I've honestly I've been sitting here and just been thinking. I went and ate, but like I haven't been making any moves here the past couple of days. I've been
Paralyzed.
yeah.
Would you like to talk more about that after the live?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I don't mind talk. I need to talk. Like I've been like off to myself quite a bit
Isolating.
here
I've
lately.
been pretty reclusive lately myself. I think lots of thoughts do that. You know, even if you're extroverted. I am extroverted and I've been reclusive. So if you're introverted, I'm I'm sure that's even more it comes even more naturally.
Like I'm hardcore extroverted and social, so like
So when you get too reclusive, it becomes toxic, like me. If I get too reclusive, you should worry. Because I'm probably not doing great.
right.
That, well, then I shall forcibly harass you more often.
That would be all right.
Okay, noted. Hey,
Hello,
Batman.
awesome people.
How are
Hey,
things in
what's up,
God
dude?
on the map?
Things are not super okay, but I'm not mad about it, I guess. I guess I'm somewhat in a state of I guess not really giving a shit for the most part, mainly because there's certain things that I would like to dedicate my thoughts towards that's kind of important to me right now. It's mainly stuff that I've been kind of writing, mainly like theological stuff.
Nice. So I'm going to ask this in a way only you would understand, probably. Black wolf or no wolf?
Yeah, you're right on one point.
um,
I don't understand that. So.
Black.
Fair. Usually I'd be talking to you about that, but I can't right now. It'd make me a hypocrite.
But it's actually very beneficial right now because
Fair.
it's I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit too stable, if that makes any sense at this point.
It's time to shake things up. Let some
Yeah,
chaos fly and see where some shit lands.
yeah. Just kind of like sitting back, enjoying it, more like.
It's fair. It's fair.
Must be
Yeah, I
nice.
Ruben,
feel. Um. Well, it depends on your perspective, really. Some people might not look at it that way, but the way how I look at it is, if it's useful and it's benefiting me in one way or the other, then it's nice to me. Some people who might know me, like personally, but not intellectually, like Pixie knows me personally and intellectually, so she understands the benefit of what I'm saying. Whereas someone who knows me personally, like, they'll be concerned, mainly because they kind of see me as someone who tends to be overly productive in terms of how I use my time, and I don't really like being surrounded by chaos in any
oh,
way.
it's because
So
your white wolf gets all the show ribbons.
that's true. That's true. I'm not even going to deny that. So,
Oh yeah, I have a question for Batman, but
sure.
Pixie, it might turn into a bit of a, theological thing, and I'm not. I just don't. When you say I want to believe things that make me feel better, rather than things that are true, and I'm not trying to set, but I kind of am, but I'm not trying to set an argument. But I've never understood
Wait,
that.
who said that?
I thought Batman just said it, and we've had this discussion before. It's like
Okay.
you'd rather believe things that like utilitarian,
Oh,
you'd
yeah.
rather things
Hold
that
beliefs that
make,
are useful.
yeah, rather than what is true.
Um, I think it depends. Because what
If
is
it's pragmatic, then how could it not be true? If it's
well, it's
Yeah.
not
useful, it has
necessarily
to have
about
some
what's.
kind of truth.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why I said, like, it depends, right? Like, if like, I don't have any way to like, I can't put God in a bottle and or Jesus in a bottle and say, hey, here they are, or anything like that, right? So I can't make that claim and say, this, the core of my beliefs is true, but the core of my belief is not grounded in true in like what's true in terms of what I can like absolutely prove in the first place. The core of my belief is more has to deal with my behavior, for myself and the other people in my life.
Yeah.
For me, it's not doing things for like for reward or anything like that. I'm more focused on the here and now.
And yeah, that was a great word, pragmatic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. Yeah.
I would say that more fuels my theological state of mind. Um, you know, versus I'm not saying like the spiritual stuff doesn't exist, but in terms of the utility and um, how pragmatic it is for me, um, that's a little bit more dominant, at least at this point in my life.
Yeah, that's good.
And like personally, like someone were to ask me, like my beliefs or whatever, like I'll tell them. And if it's a situation, they ask me, okay, how is it useful? I'll tell them how it's useful or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm talking and I'm watching a weird video with this dude cutting like this super ugly, slimy fish.
Oh, poor fish.
Oh, yeah. What are those fish? Yeah, if you attack them, they give out loads of slime.
Uh,
Is it dogfish?
the dude almost puked when he cut its gut
Oh
open.
no, please stop. Poor fish. Oh. Well, I also, I'm sad for the fish, but I also do not want to throw up.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it's that's really what's been kind of fueling my perspective nowadays, and with my more like recent conversations in chat, I've somewhat developed an adversary, and I don't like his theological position, and I'm kind of motivated to
Ooh, are
debunk
you
it.
dropping names?
I
Or
mean,
do I
sure,
wait and see?
everyone knows it's Tim.
Who?
He's my theological enemy right now. Tim.
Who's that?
Oh, it's someone from he hangs out in Missing Mods streams and Gangster Bro
Oh, I was
streams.
gonna say, I did say I was absent and reclusive lately, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you guys have ever interacted. Probably not. But
Yeah.
yeah, he has a theological position that I vehemently disagree with, for a lot of reasons. And
So
Did you? Wait.
go. Sorry.
Does he have something to do with that video that Bond posted? Like there was some
yeah.
guy saying
Yeah.
that Bond and you were the same person or whatever.
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was hilarious. I don't know how people think you and Bond are the same person. That is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, dude. I've kind of ran with it, and I was like, okay, so it's two
I like
persons,
missing
one
Mod.
being. So they should call us a twinity.
Yes, and again, way too intelligent. The twin.
Now,
That is.
I do like missing Mod, and missing Mod was going. You know what? I thought that at one time, but they've both been on my stream at the same time,
That's hilarious.
and that was cute.
That's the funniest part of it too. He didn't really want to believe. I mean, he's like not being, I guess,
No,
me,
he said that was just Bond on 2 different accounts.
Yeah. Like we don't even sound the same, but
You don't. You do not sound the same. You don't. Not only is your voice not similar, but you don't have the same cadence. You don't have the same inflection or speech patterns. You don't even have the same word choices.
Yeah.
exactly. And he prefers tacos over sandwiches.
Yeah.
You know
Just
what? I do
Bond.
too. I am clearly on Bond's side here.
Oh
Tacos
my
for the
God,
win.
Pixie!
No.
I'm gonna come up with a sandwich gospel to try to convince you.
No.
It's called a hagfish, the fish that gives off slime. But yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
on I'm gonna be on his side a lot here though, because like I don't like a lot of, especially around the holidays, I hate traditional food. I don't like ham, I don't like turkey. I am not a Thanksgiving person. Like I just don't like the food. And every year they try to get me to host. And every year I'm like, look, if I host, y'all are gonna hate me because we're gonna have enchiladas and tamales and tortillas and tacos. That's what we're gonna have, and you're gonna be really angry. You're gonna be like, where's the turkey? And I'm gonna be like, fuck your turkey. Okay, so the next time you ask me to host, you need to be prepared, because
That's very funny.
I've still been vegan. I've been like eating nothing but like tofu and getting proteins from other places. And I ride my bike like a ridiculous amount. Like I have a new bike that is way less than 3 weeks old, and I've already balded the fucking back
Wow.
tire.
Jeez. See, I was
Nice.
never vegan. I was vegetarian because I really liked cheese and milk. I drank so much milk when I was pregnant. Maybe that's
I'm
why we both barely
vegetarian.
survived. Maybe that's why we both barely survived. But yeah, I was vegetarian for years and years and years and years and years. Now, I will eat meat, and I have always been able to cook it for other people. I don't mind cooking it for other people. I don't love it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And when I do eat it, I'm very picky about it. My body hates red meat. I can't have too much red meat. But like I'm not like opposed to it, right? It's food is a chore for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. You know what? I want you to try having. I'm gonna give you the recipe for the Jamaican national dish and have you make that, and you can let me know what you think.
I will definitely try it. I want to go to this Ethiopian restaurant, but nobody wants to go with me, and I'm sad. So I'm gonna be like, fuck all y'all, and I'm just gonna go have lunch by myself at this
Exactly.
Ethiopian restaurant.
I do that sometimes whenever I want to go somewhere. I'm like, hey, do you want to come? You're like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, fuck you. I'm going to go by myself.
Well, they drag me like I go to places even though I know I'm not gonna love it, right?
Yeah.
Like they will describe it to me, and I am like, it's okay. We'll find something manageable on the menu, right? And I do. But then when I get really excited about something, everybody's like, I don't know about that. So I'm just gonna be like, no, fuck y'all, and I'm gonna go by myself for lunch to the Ethiopian restaurant.
There you go. Hey, Tobit, quick question. The bike that you use, is it one of those, is it a mountain bike or like a hybrid, or is it like one of those racing bikes?
Mine's a mountain bike.
Nice.
I had a
Do you-
fucking e-bike. I had the Huffy Centurion, and they got stolen from me the day after fucking Christmas. It was locked up,
Dude.
and I was charging the battery inside of a place. And while I was inside of that place charging it, somebody stole my fucking bike. I even have video of it.
Damn, dude.
And
That
there's no way to
sucks.
stop it. The sad thing is there's no way to stop it. The best you can do is get a long chain lock and a bar lock. Then what you do is you take the bar lock and you lock it to something, and then you take that long ass chain lock and you thread it through your back tire, figure eight it around the frame, go all the way through your front tire again, and then go around the thing you put your U-lock on and lock it again. And the reason that's the safest is because it's just so goddamn much work.
Right.
Because they
And I
either
wanted
have to get the U-lock off first, right? And they can't just take your tires or your seat or your handlebars and run because you've got them all chained together. So unfortunately, it's really hard to protect the seat. They can just take the seat and run. But
Yeah.
you have to go like out of your way to protect a bike. Bond! Hey, Bond!
Mr. Taco.
Yeah, Bond is here. Yes,
Bond is right. Tacos. Tacos are better than sandwiches.
Yeah, and of course you're gonna stick up for him because you're both from Texas. That's racist.
No, actually, that is insulting. I am not from Texas.
Yeah. Sorry, you're not from Texas. Yeah, sorry.
I currently live in Texas, and there is a very big difference.
Yeah. Ironically, all my exes live in Texas.
Not all of mine do. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I don't love Texas, and aesthetically, like as far as aesthetics go, I'm probably in the worst part of Texas. The only thing it has going for it is that not too far from here, there's a really, really pretty canyon. Other than that, it's the cows outnumber the people. We're like the cow capital of the fucking world. I kid you not.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah. There it is very windy. It is very dry. There's not a lot of trees. There's two places that can be considered cities. And in between those cities, you're going to be driving for at least 30 minutes in between towns.
Dallas.
The two places, no, Dallas is too far away from us for that. They're not even they're more in they say North Texas, but it's really like Central Texas. That's them. I'm way up in the Panhandle. The only two places that can even be considered a city are Amarillo and Lubbock, and they have what, like 200,000 people or something. Like, it's not. Wait, what is the population here? Hold on.
Yeah, Amarillo. That's a great song. I don't know whether it's famous in America.
Yeah, see, I wasn't kidding. In 2023, it was 202,408. So there's only and Lubbock is not that much bigger than Amarillo, and that's just because they're a college town. And they're like everywhere else in the Panhandle is smaller than that by far.
Yeah, that is big. I think my town has like 2,000 people in it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not that big. Not when you consider. Okay, let's look. What's the Houston? You want to talk about the big city in Texas?
Houston, that's got to be one of the big cities. Houston.
Houston is a big city in Texas. Now you take my 200,000, okay?
Yeah.
Houston has 2.314 million in 2023.
Wow. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Texas is bigger than England, just on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one state. Yeah.
Dallas had 1.303 million in 2023. So when I say the only two places in the Panhandle that can be considered cities are dwarfed by the other cities in Texas, I mean it.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Pix, are you seeing the outside chat?
Birria tacos, I agree with that. Dipped, yes. I'm really glad he didn't say the
tacos dipped in fucking tea.
What is the name of those pork tacos everybody here is obsessed with that I don't love?
Anyway.
So.
No, we don't claim Houston.
Yeah.
You know,
Houston
was interesting. There was things I liked about it, and there were things I hated about it. But it was pretty interesting. It was very diverse. I loved how diverse it was. Also, the people were so friendly. Like, so friendly to me. Traffic sucked, though. Those people, I swear to God, half of them got their driver's license from a Cracker Jack box, but that's beside the point. Great. I'd rather drive in Denver than Houston. Those people were fucking nuts. But anyway. And there was a lot of concrete. There was so much concrete. I didn't love that. But the birds would echo every morning. Like, you could just have like a little group of birds, and it would echo like there were like 2 or 3 times the number of them. It was interesting. And the people were so nice. And there were so many of them. And I couldn't remember all their names, and they didn't hold it against me. They did not care that I would be like, hey, Egypt, is Cairo coming in today? Where's Tanzania? The countries they were from. Oh, and if there was more than one from the same country, one of them had to default to the city they were from. Hence, Cairo and Egypt, you know?
Yeah, that's like England. People in London and the south, if you just live there, like people in the north, like say hello to each other, you know, just as you pass in the street. And then, yeah, people in the south, yeah. People in the north.
Dude, Austin is
You know-
kind of strange. Like that hospitality, that southern hospitality, like it kind of skipped over Austin. Like I've been trying to start conversations with people, and they literally just look at the fucking ground or just keep on walking. Like
well,
it's
if you talk
so
to a
weird.
lot of like, see, that's weird to me, and here's why. First time I went to Austin, I stopped to look at a map, and I kid you not, I had 3 people offer to fill up my gas tank, 2 people run in and buy me stacks, and the third person invite me out to dinner. So the problem, I at one gas station so I could look at a map. I kid you not. It was before GPS, all that. But if you talk to a lot of locals, they say that Austin has been changing a lot because recently they've had a big wave of people from like California moving there. But even prior to that, there was this really weird out of nowhere big wave of people from like New England, like New York and New Jersey and stuff like that moving to Austin. And they complained about like them bringing like a different mentality to the town. I haven't been there a whole lot recently, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Austin is famous for being very weird anyway, like not like the rest of Texas. Like Austin is a
Well, no, keep Austin
It's
weird
a
had to
motto.
do
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Austin
but
weird. Yeah.
that had to do with Austin was like the Santa Fe of Texas. It was where like the musicians and the artists and all of them went.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like weird as in creative and like kind of strange, but now it's like weird, like off-putting, like you're rude. like holy shit. I like literally complimented a dude who was standing in an elevator with me, and we were wearing almost the identical fucking hat, and I was like, you got a cool looking hat, dude. And he put his head and just looked down at the ground. And I'm talking about a grown ass fucking adult. Like I've
See,
never felt so fucking ignored here
I
recently.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm really small and I have a high-pitched childlike voice. But for some reason, when I travel, people tend to like me in ways that embarrass other people. Like I'm sure, like no, I would embarrass people I'm traveling with. I'm sure. Like sometimes I have to rein myself in because I feel bad for people I'm traveling with. I've gotten a lot better over the years, but it's to the point. It got to the like. I would get up to go to the restroom, and then like 45 minutes later, somebody from my table is like, "There you are," but I've been kidnapped by a couple from another table. You know? Or one time I told this lady that I absolutely loved her skirt, and then she was at my table for an hour and a half, and I was her adopted daughter, right? Or
That's not why people like you though.
in
Everyone,
Houston,
it's not just Austin.
in Houston, that's how, you know, like I got to know all the valet people. It was actually crazy because it was like I was there on work with some other people, with some coworkers, and it was like our third morning there. So like we had stayed at the hotel 2 nights. So it's my third morning there. I'm coming downstairs, and the hostess stops me and she starts talking to me. She's asking me what time I get off. Am I going to be there for happy hour? Because she's going to save me some drinks. She gives me hugs, all that. I'm walking out, and the valet person is like, "Hey, are you going to work? You gonna come hang out with us tonight? And I'm like, hell yeah, who's gonna be here? Is Egypt gonna be here? He's like, I don't think Egypt's gonna be here. He'll be here tomorrow. But Cairo and Ethiopia are gonna be here. And I was like, hell yeah, tell Ethiopia I'm down. We're getting in the car, valets pull up the car. My coworkers are just looking at me. We get in the car and my boss is like, how do you know them? How do they know you? And I'm like, I don't know. I just stood out here and talked to them because I was bored the other night. And then, like, I will just be like, one time they were scrolling to figure out dinner. And I was like, that's not how you do this. And they were like, how do you do this? And I was like, do you trust me? And they looked at me like really weird. And I was like, okay, but a little bit. And
Yeah,
they were like, okay.
Trying harder. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, follow me. So we walk outside and I just start walking. I just pick a direction and I start walking. And I'm like, hey, are you guys from here? And they're like, no, we're just visiting. Oh, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, enjoy your night. Have a lovely night. All that good stuff. I keep walking. My coworker is getting so embarrassed. He's like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, shut up. So we keep walking. Finally, I find this couple and I'm like, hey, are you guys from here? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, what is your favorite restaurant? And so they were like, Xochitl. And I was like, how far is Xochitl from here? And they're like, oh, it's in walking distance. It's just right up there. And then you go left a couple of blocks and it's right there. And I was like, fantastic. Have you eaten yet? And they were like, no. And I was like, good. Let's all go to dinner. So we did. We all went to dinner. We had a great time. Amazing food. Some wonderful, wonderful agave and mezcal. And then we went ice skating in a park outside. And that is how you do that.
Yeah, that is why people like you. Yeah. You meet them, you chat to them, you go for a meal and take them ice skating. Who wouldn't like that? You know?
Yeah. Well, who knows where to get good food? The locals know where to get good food.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You want to know where to get good food, yeah, ask the locals.
Exactly. You go mingle. That's what you do.
You know, another thing that seems different about Austin than like at other times I lived here, like there was a lot more restaurants that were around that were you're only gonna find them in Austin, but now it's like become a lot more like corporatized. Like you see a lot more of the same restaurants all throughout the city. Like I don't know, that's another thing that's like changed here.
Also,
Like
you're
you
in
see,
Austin, Tobin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Austin. He's in Austin at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I hear it has changed a lot. I know I knew people that lived there for quite a while and they got so frustrated. They said that it had just changed so much they couldn't stay there anymore and then they left. They eventually went back for health reasons for the wife. It's just a better environment for her. Where they were living happened to like present a lot of problems, so they moved back. But they were just really, really disheartened at how much it has changed in the last like 10 years. Or even less than that. I think the last probably like 7 years. And they really just I don't know. But I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, it's the liberal.
Become a lot more corporatized.
That's what I'm saying. They just kept saying we keep getting city business people keep moving in.
Yeah.
I do remember there were like really cool things about Austin when I was there. Like I remember like almost any cafe or shop I went to, I could pick up this little newspaper and it almost looked like a thrifty nickel, right? But it was like just full of all the events in Austin that day. It would have like family events, concerts, museum stuff, arts and crafts stuff, just like adults only events, kids events, and it was just like this whole newspaper full of just like all the shit you could get up to that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that is one
outside of
thing that's
established businesses, right? Like,
yeah.
and they would have like these music festivals and that comedy festival and this, and they would have, you know, and then you'd have like the South by, like not even just South by Southwest, but like you'd have like a lot of like independent artists and films and stuff come through, and it was just really cool.
That is still healthy and alive. I've actually been going out and playing, and there's one particular bar that I've been going to every Sunday since I've moved over here, and it's a blast. Like, it's a special place. Like, people actually like dance inside of the club, and like we have an open mic night that is like a blues jam, but I've jammed out to like an Irish jig, and I've also played. I think it was Holiday in Cambodia. It
Oh,
was an
that's
old
great.
punk rock song.
Yeah. Holiday in Cambodia. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
But that's still alive here. All that art and the all those events you were just talking about. It's just
Yeah,
built up so much. It's
it's like when I visit Denver, right? Like I'm almost afraid to visit Austin for the same reason. Like, okay, I visit Denver a lot because I still have family there and I love Colorado. Anyway, maybe it's because I was born there. Maybe it's just because I love mountains and trees. But anyway, every time I go back to Denver, I get a little bit sadder though because nothing is the way I remember it. For example, they killed their entire skyline. They killed it. Like if you look at the old skyline, you could see the Capitol building, which I always loved their Capitol building because it's not white and it's not red brick like all the other Capitol buildings. It's a slate gray with a gold dome. And they have one of two US mints, right? Like right there downtown. They had uh, this courthouse that they light up every year for Christmas and like huge crazy designs. They had like all this stuff. And now like when you're driving, you can't see any of it. I was a block away from the US Mint, and the only reason I saw it was because I spotted it when I looked left down a side street. Like you couldn't even see it anymore. Like every time I go, it's just more and more and more and more high rises everywhere, outskirts of town, middle of downtown, like everything. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. That you couldn't build that anywhere else. You had to kill the entire like skyline. You can't see the Capitol unless you're like right up on it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't know. It's weird. Even like restaurants that I used to eat at. There was this restaurant that used to be like at the end of a shopping center way out in the middle of nowhere. And I passed that thing like 5 times before I recognized it because it was not in the middle of nowhere and it was not alone anymore. I don't know. There's a point where a place just has too many people for me, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm like, I gotta like, I want, I want to be close to a city, maybe not a city that big, but I want to be close to a city. But I want to be in the country. I don't want to have any neighbors. I don't, I want my house to be back up in the trees where you cannot see it, right? Like I don't want to deal with it. I don't.
Can you say hello to Big Baba Man and Sammy in the side chat? You'll see.
I love living out in the shit. Love living out in the country, but like you gotta have some kind of income.
Yeah, yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah, you gotta be near like businesses. Yeah,
Speaking of glasses, did I show you my new glasses, Wild? Remind me to show
yeah,
them to you.
I've seen them. Yeah, they're very nice. Yeah, they're cool.
I did go with the clear ones after all.
Yeah, 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 they're cool.
They will go with everything anyway.
But
This
actually,
year, I actually got lucky with these. Like they were buried in grass, and I was walking along the highway, and somebody actually dropped these, and they actually are my prescription. Like I can see with them.
that is very, yeah, that's cool.
I hate wearing glasses,
Mm.
but these I don't hate as much as my previous ones. But I think it's because like I got a new type of lens, and it's supposed to, because my eyesight's pretty bad, it makes my peripheral vision a little better. No, I don't think they do. I think they make me look kind
Yeah.
of here. Hold on.
No, they kind of do. To be fair.
No, they really don't. One sec.
You just got to put them down like that to make you a sexy librarian. I think that's what they do.
Okay, now I'm not gonna be able to see because I have my contacts in, but there you go. There's my glasses.
There, cool.
I cannot see very well because I am wearing contacts, so that was like a double prescription.
So are you short-sighted or long-sighted? Sorry, that might be the accent. Are you short-sighted or long-sighted?
I'm nearsighted.
That's one. Yeah.
I thought you said wrong-sided.
Yeah. It's the accent.
No, I'm nearsighted. You can tell when they put their glasses on. You can always tell because if you're nearsighted, the lenses are curved in a way that makes your eyes look slightly smaller. And if you're farsighted, your lenses are curved in a way that makes your eyes appear bigger. So you can always tell.
Yeah. And
Unless
is
you're
your
wearing
daughter,
contacts.
or isn't your daughter becoming an optometrist or
She
yeah,
is.
optician? Yes.
Yeah, but before she can go to optometry school, she's getting her she's she should finish in 4 years, but you know, she is my kid and she is super munchkin, so she's determined to finish in 3 years because she wants 7 years of school instead of 8, but right now she's majoring in biology and minoring in pre-professional health.
That's cool. That's very cool.
She got a 4.0 last semester with 17 hours. So she's doing good.
No.
Heck yeah.
So, is she at the University of Texas? I know that's quite a famous university. University of Texas. Oh.
Do what?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking I don't want to dox anyone or anything.
Oh, is she at UT? No,
Yeah.
she's not at UT. But she might be. That might be okay. So right now there are only 23 optometry schools in the whole US.
Wow.
And but by the time she graduates, there may be a new one opening up. And the new one that's supposed to open is supposed to be affiliated with UT. And that's one of the ones she's thinking about applying to, but not the main one she's thinking about applying to. So.
Yeah. So I'm at the 51 states in America. 50 something.
There's 50 states and 16 territories. Wait, is it 16 territories? Hold on.
So there
I
are
don't want
20.
to lie.
Yeah, that's yeah. It sounds like a shortage of optometrists to me. Although
14 territories. Well, but administered by Colombia, then the total number is 16. So I didn't quite lie.
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it's 50 countries pretending to be one country.
I don't know. Some of them are pretty closely allied. Let's go with Alabama and Kentucky, for example.
Sweet home Alabama.
Kansas and Texas, another good. Oklahoma and Kansas is an even better comparison.
Yeah, but I think that's like, I think if you were to get rid of the parties that are running them, I don't think they'll be as united.
I'm not even talking about parties. I'm just talking about like the culture of the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it is like 50 different countries. Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Different laws and yeah.
Like completely different countries.
Yeah.
They're like, if you like, I'm sure if Odin came to visit me, or if I went to visit Odin, I would just be like, what? Like it would be like a place I've never been before, right?
Yeah, most likely. I don't know. I'm just like, it just feels that, not that I'm like, I think every state kind of having their own culture. I think that's pretty cool. I think it makes sense for that. But
Well, okay. It's in big things and small things. It's just a perspective shift. And I think that tends to happen because honestly, living rural is not the same as living in a city. I've lived in both and it's not the same. It's really not. It is completely different, right? And then you have like these little stories. There's a famous actor who drove through where I lived, and he has this story about his rental car breaking down. And he says, when he tells this story, he says, I didn't know places like that still existed. He said, when they found me, he said, I was calling the tow I was trying to get a hold of the tow company, and he said these farm men found me. These men just came off the farm, found me, and they were like, oh, they don't open for another hour. Don't worry about it. We got you. He said they loaded him up. They took him to breakfast. They said they had no idea who he was. Did not know who he was. Picked him up, loaded him in the car, took him to breakfast, or no, lunch, because they went to Coyote Bluff. That's right. Took him to lunch, called the tow company for him, got everything taken care of, sent him on his way, all that good stuff. Like, and people are really like that here. And it just goes on and on. Like, I had a friend who visited New England, and the thing that stuck with her was it was close to Veterans Day, and she had family up there. And the thing that stuck with her was she had seen this car. She passed this car stalled out on the road, and she kept driving, and it was pouring rain. And she said, like a mile and a half down the road, she sees this veteran in full dress just walking in the soaking rain. So she asks him, do you need a ride? And she was in Pennsylvania, by the way. Finally gets, like, he gets in the car, and she said the first thing he said to her was, you're not from here, are you? And she was like, no, why? He's like, because if you were, you wouldn't have stopped. And she said that said a lot to her.
Yeah.
I had another friend who moved here from New York, not New York, but from New York. And she said it took her a long time to get used to being here, that when she first got here, it really freaked her out because her neighbors came to her door with actual cookies and pies and casseroles and like introducing themselves, and she would like walk out, like go take a walk, you know, and people were like waving and smiling at her, and people at the grocery store were talking to her for no reason. She's like, it's the weirdest thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's just life. You just have to, you know, everybody smiles, everybody waves, people are going to stop and talk to you for no reason whatsoever. Like, it's just, that's the way it is.
It's back to the like north-south divide in the UK. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah, you go to certain times, yeah, people will smile and say hello. You go to other times, not so much. Yeah.
Well, for me, they say it's a north-south thing. I think it's less that now. I think traditionally it was a north-south thing, but I don't think it was like in any way geographic. I think it's, like I said, city living is very, very different than rural living, right? Like,
Yeah.
living in a farming community is not the same thing as living in a city full of millions of people. It's just not. And if you look at the way the country developed, the South had most of the agriculture and the North had most of the factories. Well, when you have mostly agriculture, you're inherently mostly rural, right? And when the North has most of the factories, they're inherently mostly urban, right? And so it's the difference in perspective between, like, there's no way, when there's too many people, you can't know your community, right? The best you can do is know your neighborhood, and that's stretching it, right? But when you get into these little farming communities, everybody knows everybody, right? It's less minding my own business and more looking out for everybody, right? And then you have places that are kind of in between. But it's just a very different perspective in the way things are viewed.
I recently showed a friend of mine from another country, New York State, and his mind was blown. he thought all of New York was basically New York City, and I showed him that New York City is like this super tiny part of New York. He's like, so, like, what's, yeah, like, he's like, what's up north? Like, I was like, it's really just like bush and farming communities, really.
Oh yeah, yeah. New York definitely has small places like Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie is
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie is not big. Not at all.
Like, it's really nice. See, that's what I was saying. Like, I would move upstate New York. It's really beautiful up there, especially like during fall time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I'm a lizard, and I don't like cold. So
Yeah.
the sun is my friend.
No, I'm sorry, that's a bold claim. You are a lizard.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's
I
she's
say
one of
that
the lizard people.
I say that jokingly. My like everybody, my family, everybody teases me about that. They say I'm a lizard because I like the sun and I get cold very easy. And I don't love the cold. I hate the cold. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
And so it's this little joke that I'm cold-blooded, right?
Right, yeah.
So I need the warmth.
Yeah.
I said that to her.
And my
Ex-girlfriend
hands
of
and
mine once.
my hands and my feet get so cold.
Yeah.
Something at me.
Although, yeah, humans supposedly have a lizard brain, or part of their brain is lizard. I've never quite understood that. And I don't know whether it's true or not.
Well, I think they say lizard, that part of your lizard brain. I think the reason they say that is like just like metaphorically, like it's the primitive part of your brain. It's the not evolved part of your brain.
Right, yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
Yeah, it's responsible for like instinct and basic function. There's no reasoning there.
Yeah, it doesn't come from actual lizards.
Right.
So is
Yeah.
that why
Saying I'm a
I have
cannibal?
to, I get compelled to like lick my eyeballs sometimes?
Lizard like, yeah. Oh yeah, chameleons. Like that, yeah.
So if you eat lizard, you're basically a cannibal.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, yeah.
I suppose. I don't know. I don't love the cold. And that just seems like too much cold.
Yeah, as a Caribbean baby, just off the bat, I'm not gonna like the cold, but I would prefer the cold and no snow than snow and mild cold.
See, now I'm gonna have to say it depends on the kind of snow. Because hear me out.
Yeah.
When I lived close to Denver, even when I lived in Denver, actually, we would get this beautiful white fluffy snow, right? Like, and tons of it. But when I walked outside in like a long sleeve sweater or a hoodie, I was fine. Like, I was perfectly fine. And I think it has a lot to do with like the air is thinner, and B, the elevation, right? Like the sun, 70 degrees in Denver feels warmer than 70 degrees where I'm at. And I think that's because of the elevation and the thinner air in the higher altitudes. But anyway, I would rather deal with that than what I deal with here. Because here we don't get a lot of snow usually. We did this year. We don't get a lot of snow usually. When we do, it's usually this wet, slushy mess that just hardens into ice really, really fast. And on top of that, you've got like hurricane winds with no hurricane, and it's blasting cold. I mean, like to the bones, you cannot get warm cold. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I mean, I can't say I hate the wind, because in the spring and the summer, when it's really warm, I mean, in the spring and the fall, when it's really warm and there's a nice cold, like cool wind, it's really nice. In the summer, it's annoying because it's like a hot, it's like somebody
Blow
put you in an
dryer.
oven and then threw a blow dryer in your face. But in the winter, that wind chill does not play around. People are like, oh, it's like 30. They'll be like, oh, it's like 30 degrees over there. It's not that cold. And I'm like, did you check the wind chill? Did you check the wind chill? Because now we're in the negatives. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's
I
the
hate.
bad
They're
kind of
about
stuff.
to get it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I hate that. Oh, and I
it's
hate the
coming.
cold.
Yeah.
See, I say New England seems like too much cold. The truth is, I've never been to New England, so I wouldn't know. I I guess I just see the pictures of the winters, and it seems like it's too much cold. But maybe it's like Denver compared to here. I don't know.
Yeah, there's the good kind of snow, the soft, fluffy one, and then when it turns to ice and mush, yeah, that's the bad kind of snow. Yeah.
Oh, the first time I saw snowflakes in the panhandle of Texas, I was like, snowflakes! Got all excited. I ran outside. I came back in. I was like, that shit is not snow. That
Yeah,
is not snow.
it's snow, but it's cold. I don't like that.
No, it wasn't even just that. Like the wind was cold. It's just the snow was like icy and heavy, and like immediately wanted to like compact into ice or like freeze over into like it just wasn't. It's definitely not fun snow.
Soaks your gloves and you can't like you get wet hands and shit.
Ugh. And then you
Yeah.
can't make a snowball, because by the time you get that shit compact enough to like not fall apart, you're gonna peg somebody and knock their ass out. Might as well be throwing hail at that
Just a
point.
block of ice. Yeah, just throwing a block of ice at someone at that.
Yeah, it's just no. It's not fun, snow.
Yeah, I hate all snow. Looks nice to look at, but outside of that,
It's fun to sled in.
I don't sled, so
Well, you should change that. Then you would find appreciation for the snow, because sledding is
I have
fun.
never gotten the sled before.
Oh, come on. You
Never.
don't even need a sled. Okay. First of all, we all know I grew up really poor, right? So the first time I went sledding, it wasn't even on snow. Do you know that? But it taught me what I needed to know when the snow came. So the first time I went sledding, I was with my grandmother. And okay, my grandmother on my mom's side, fun fact, is from backwoods, Arkansas. I mean, backwoods, tiny logging town, middle of nowhere forest, backwoods, Arkansas. Okay. And worst accent I've ever heard in my life, by the way. I was 15. I still hear that accent. There was this cute guy, but the second he started talking, he was no longer cute. I was like, oh, please shut up. Anyway, worst accent ever. So we're on this trip with her, and it's fall. Was it fall? It was fall, because it was the timber festivals and it was close to Halloween. I remember that. Anyway, so the needles of the pine trees were falling off, right? And it was a logging community, as I said. So there's like these big pine forests and all of that. And the needles were falling. So we stopped and we got cardboard boxes and potato sacks. I'm going to tell you right now, always go for the cardboard box. The potato sacks work, but sometimes you get stabbed by pine needles, okay? Anyway, we took them and we would run up the hill and we would sled down these slippery pine needles, and it was like being on snow, kind of. We would just slide down these hills of pine needles. And the little dog was mad at me because I stuck it on a box and shoved it down the hill. I remember that. Anyway. Yeah, and then when I was in Colorado, I wasn't in Denver. I was on the other side of the mountain, in the green side, over by Durango, the less populated side. And it had snowed really heavy. We were staying out at Horseman's Lodge, watching the deer and all that, and visiting some family. And it had like huge snow. And so we got big plastic trash can lids and went sliding. We went sledding using trash can lids. Yeah.
Yeah,
Heck
I've
yeah.
seen that. Yeah. Yeah, and you can use a sled on grass as well. Yeah.
Yes. And a real sled is more fun. It'll go faster and it's easier to control, right? But I still went sledding on a trash can lid and it still worked. It almost felt like that one time I accidentally slid down the mountain. Like surfed. I accidentally surfed on loose rocks down a big portion of a well, it wasn't a mountain, it was a plateau. Let me be correct.
That's brave. Yeah.
No, it was not brave. It was actually a complete accident. There's this steep part of a trail called Devil's Slide on this plateau at this camp I was staying at. And I had hiked it like a million times. Not just that one, but you can also start at the other side of this plateau and come across and see this little waterfall. And then you get to like the top of Devil's Slide right by the rock climbing, and then you can finish going up. Anyway, point being, I had hiked this thing backwards and forwards so many times. So I was hiking up one day with a group of people. There's a girl, and she's like behind me. She's right behind me. We had already gone up and we're coming down, and I looked down mid-step and there's a rattlesnake right there. but I can't stop. I'm mid-step, right? So he doesn't seem particularly agitated. So I step over him and I look over my shoulder and I say, "Be careful, there's a rattlesnake." Well, the girl behind me freaks the fuck out. She jumps over this rattlesnake screaming, runs into the back of me, and we're trying to steady each other, only she's okay. She's like freaking out trying to jump off the trail. And I thought I was okay. And I turned around to take a step down, double slide. And the next thing I know, the rock underneath my foot gives out, and I am like surfing down this mountain. And the bottom of this mountain is kind of like this plateau is coming up like really fast. And all I could think is run before you hit the bottom, run before you hit the bottom, run before you hit the bottom.
Yeah.
And I did. It did not stop me from almost face planting and like rolling a few times, but I did manage to run before I got to the bottom.
Ouch. Yeah.
It sounds painful. Yeah.
And it was not one of the times I broke my bones. The 2 times I went sliding down a mountain, and neither time did I break a bone. It would have been cool though, right? Like they'd been like, "How did?" And I'd have been like, "Yeah, we were playing tag on a wet mountain, and there I went sliding all the way down the mountain out into the middle of the road," right? Like that would have been a cool. But no, every time I broke a bone, it was something stupid. Like I was jumping off the roof onto the trampoline and into the pool, and then one time I accidentally went over the pool.
Oh snap!
Wow.
Or there was the rollerblading one and the trampoline one. Oh, and then I fucked up my pinky really bad. See, it will never, ever, ever be straight. See that? That pinky
Yeah,
is
I've heard you
really
tell that story about the playing hide and go seek, and you like put your hands out against the wall or something like that.
No, dumbest story ever. He stopped. Okay, so the hallway is small, and it turns into a bigger hallway. To the like, you turn right, and the hallway gets bigger, and it opens up into a big hall, right? And I'm trying to get back before him, and he's way taller than me. Like way, he's not big. Like he's a skinny twig of a guy, but he's tall. And he knows I'm faster than him. And he knows that when we turn this corner, I am going to just whip right past him, and he does not want me to. And so when he gets to the end of the small hall, he just abruptly stops, arms out against the hall wall. I am trying to stop, and I cannot stop. So I start sliding down the hall, and my hand slammed into his back. And then when I did that, somehow I broke, jammed, and fractured my finger all at the same time. And the way it was swollen, we thought it was just jammed. And so he kept trying to mess with it. And finally, he was like, "I'm going to have to wait till the swelling goes down." And I was like, "Cool, can I go play?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so was it the next day or the day after that I finally got it x-rayed? And then they were like, "Well, the problem is it's healing, but we can re-break it if you want me to." And I was like, "No, don't re-break it." And so now it's just fucked up forever.
Oh, you just reminded me. One of my cousins, she was falling, and she thought, "I don't want to hurt my hands." You know, when you scrape your hands and it's painful.
Yeah.
So she put her hands behind her back and broke her nose instead.
Oh no.
Oh no, dude. It's
I don't
best
know.
to try to like roll out of it, but that's not always an option.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't stop suddenly. Yeah. Falling, then you gotta keep running.
I don't know. I've injured myself so many times. But in some ways, I'm surprised I didn't injure myself more, so it's okay.
I've had, I think most of my injuries have come from sports. Like I have like a chip in my my left shin bone and I on my right ring finger, I basically destroyed that and had to do surgery on it to get it working again.
I think
Painkillers didn't work. Oh my god. Never
see,
wish that pain on anyone.
I think
Never.
I think all my sports injuries were very temporary. Like I mean like typical stuff like shin splints, and I had a couple of black eyes. I pulled a couple of ligaments, things like that. One
Yeah.
took years to heal, like years to properly heal. But like,
I can
yeah,
still feel the
I never
dent
had
in my shin.
I never had a broken bone from it though. Like I did have a couple of black eyes from sports, but not a broken bone.
Yeah,
That
I've
was
torn
always other
muscles
shit.
before. Like, like the shin, like, so with the shin injury, basically I was in a soccer match and like they didn't allow boots with metal studs, like those long ones. And one dude who's a defender, he ended up getting that. And I was like, I played midfield at the time, and I made some badass passes that game, and I scored 1 goal. I assisted in 3 goals. So, yeah, they made a sub that was a little bit earlier than normal, which was weird. And the dude that subbed in eventually um, gave me a dirty slide tackle, and it broke my shin guard and like pretty much destroyed my left leg.
I did get injured playing sports, but it doesn't count because it wasn't like it wasn't like a school sport or a club sport or anything like that. Like I was literally just playing some football with some friends. Like, but there was this like stake in the ground, and I didn't know it was there. And it went through my leg. It went through my leg when I was tackled one time.
Mm.
Surprisingly, having the nail go through my foot hurt worse. Yeah.
By the way, that dude at the end of the match, when we were like, because you gotta shake hands or whatever, like I elbowed him in the
Nice.
mouth and broke
Nice.
his front teeth.
Yeah.
And
That's the,
there's like a big dog pile after that.
I always hated that good game shit because and basketball was my least favorite sport to play because I'm really small. Like I'm small, okay? It's not my fault. I'm just small. And so people would like foul me all the time. I mean, like I caught elbows to the face like every game, right? Like these people were brutal to me, and I would just get like fed up, fed up, and I would get like really aggressive back, and then they'd foul me out. And they'd be like, "Have you not been watching?" So I
Yeah,
hated playing basketball.
That's one of the games that's played inside of the game. Is you
yeah,
foul the person and you get them upset to the point to where they
yeah.
Yeah,
like
That's part of
but
it.
you make the foul.
my point is, if I've caught 3 knees to the stomach and 4 elbows to the face, and my nose has been bleeding, how come I'm getting fouled out?
Yeah, because you were mad
Well,
and you.
one time I know exactly why I got fouled out. And that's because after she made my nose bleed, um, I took that ball and I got all up in her face. I was like, "You want it? You want it?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then I just like did this thing where I like bounced it really hard and smacked her straight in the fucking face. And I was like, there you go. Now
yes.
foul me out, bitch."
Let's go.
Pixie do not play contact sport.
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah, I don't know. I always liked contact sport. I played a little bit of rugby as well in the past. I didn't really get into that. I just kind of I just kind of stuck to football and basketball. I played cricket. I really enjoyed playing it, but I hated watching it.
Oh, I was going to say,
I
yeah, with cricket, yeah, they actually try to distract the batter. I think we call it sledging. Yeah, it's a part of, getting them upset and that, so they can't play as well.
Yeah.
I quit sports after a while because when you move around a lot, different places have different rules. Like first of all, like not every school has the same sports. Like one school I could play soccer, the next school didn't have a soccer team at all. Right? And things like that. One school I played baseball and I did track and I did something else. I can't remember. And I moved. And that's when I dropped sports altogether. I just completely dropped it because I moved to this little town and they didn't have a soccer team. I think it was soccer. They didn't have a soccer team. And they said I couldn't play baseball, that because I was a girl, I had to play softball. And that pissed me off because I had never played softball. I had always played baseball. And that made me really mad because the town that I had come from, boys and girls played both. Right. Anyway, so I was really angry. And then that just left track.
Yeah, they had it
And I was like,
segregated where I was at. They had softball and they had hardball.
yeah, but they had where I was at, they had softball and baseball too, but like you could be a guy and play softball and you could be a girl and play baseball, right? And I played baseball. But then when I moved, they said I couldn't play baseball, that I had to play softball. Because I guess they had like a girls softball team and a guys baseball team. And it made me really they also made me really mad because that was the year that they told me, because I had taken my first 2 years of Spanish in junior high. And they said that I couldn't count it, that I had to start all over because they don't start foreign languages till high school. So I was already mad about that. And then they told me I couldn't play baseball and I had to play softball, and I was mad about that. And so then I was like, well, if track is all I have left, then fuck it. I don't even want to do sports anymore. So I didn't.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't stop like consistently playing sports until around like ages 30, 30, 31, 32. I don't know. I love sports just in general. I'm trying to get back to where I can like actively run around and do stuff without feeling I'm gonna die.
I'm actually glad that happened, and I'm actually really, really glad I quit sports. Like, really glad.
I'm glad you quit sports too. You're to beat somebody up.
Yeah.
No, because like I used to be like a really, really shy person. And I know, amazing, right? But for real, I used to be like really shy to the point where like I wouldn't even talk to my siblings at school. That their asses could wait till we got home. And the teachers would get so frustrated at me. They'd be like, I know you know the answer. And I would just look at them and shrug. Like it was just not happening. And when they made me read, I would read in the most monotone voice I could pull off because they would ask me to read less. Like I was very, like when I had to give a speech, I would hold my paper in front of me and I would just shake so hard you could hear my paper like shaking. When I say I was shy, I mean like I used to be really, really shy. And I had this speech teacher before I moved. He was incredible. He was amazing at what he did. His theater kids and his debate kids went to state and nationals like every year. He was fabulous. Love this man. I credit him with a lot to this day. I had him for a speech class, a mandatory speech class. And no matter how terrified I was, I would get, when I gave my speech, I would get these really good grades and he would just smirk at me. And one day he came up to me and he was like, "You thought about joining the debate team?" And I was like, "No, absolutely not. I cannot do that. I cannot even go there." And so he was like, you don't have to join, but I want you to like come see them prepare, watch them rehearse, just kind of come hang out with us for a bit. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and I guess like I made some friends and I started loosening up a bit. And he invited me to hang out with them during the auditions for one act too. And not thinking about it, like he was like, "You're not auditioning. I understand that. Can you go read this part?" And because the other person is auditioning. And I would be like, "Okay." And I'd go up there and I'd read and the other person would audition. And it like everything was no pressure because I had no grades. I had no any of that, right? Like I'm starting to feel comfortable around these people. That's about it. And then I find out I'm moving. And right before I moved, he said, "I want you to do two things for me." He said, he said, "You're going to go somewhere where nobody knows you. And you can walk in that door and be whoever you want to be." He said, "Whoever you decide that's going to be, I'm going to ask two things of you." He said, "One, I want you to join the debate team and make it through one round. One round. And if you hate it, walk away." He said, "Two, I want you to audition for a play. If you don't make it, fine. You never have to do it again. If you make it, you have to make it all the way through that production, all the way through. And if you still hate it, walk away. But please do these two things for me." And when I quit sports, I did those two things. Debate ended up being something I absolutely adored. And I loved theater. Don't get me wrong. I went in, I auditioned, I came back, it said you got the role, and I was so nervous. I spent more time throwing up backstage than I care to recount. I don't even know how I remembered my lines, but by the end of it, like that's what I was. I was the theater debate kid, and I wasn't very shy either.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Pixie turns out to be quite a good debater. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that wasn't necessarily a good thing. I went through a "I do not care about anyone and you cannot pay me to care" phase. And I was not a
Yeah.
nice person. Well, I wouldn't say I wasn't a nice person. Like I didn't go out of my way to be mean.
Yeah.
But like, don't be a bitch in front of me, and definitely don't pick on somebody weaker than you in front of me because I'm gonna make you cry and point and laugh and do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like little things either. Were you ever that way? Just like bam, like verbal smackdown.
A couple of times, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not verbal, but yeah. No.
I went through that for sure.
This
I
one
think
girl,
that was like really popular in like the 90s to be like really cynical and like I don't give a fuck. Like that was like the motto of our generation. I don't give a fuck.
Like, yeah,
yeah,
gun music and all that in the band. Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember like this one girl. I walked in. I had these black flares with these little brass buttons at the bottom, and I had a black shirt on with a Chinese dragon on it, and the black shirt like tied. It didn't show any skin, but it tied like down the sleeve and the side of the shirt on both sides. Anyway, she said something stupid like, "What are you supposed to be, a Kiss fan?" And that, for some reason, I was already not happy with her. I think I had saw her picking on this student that got picked on a lot, so I was already not happy with her. And so she was wearing a Cowboy Up shirt, and so me being me, I looked at her and I was like, A, how do you get Gene Simmons with his tongue sticking out from a Chinese dragon? And B, what are you supposed to be, the ranch house whore or a common slut looking for a little bit of flair?
Nice.
Like, when I say I wasn't nice, I mean I wasn't nice.
No, that's a great, it's a great response. But what's wrong with being a Kiss fan? Yeah, disagree.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But she is also the girl that pissed me off enough that I put food coloring on some tampons and taped them to the back of her shorts.
Damn.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Look, I wouldn't feel sorry for that girl. She smeared somebody's reputation with false rumors, like, all over the place to cover up something that she did wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't care that she was embarrassed. I really don't. I don't feel bad for it.
Yeah. Yeah. You should hate bullies. And yeah.
Look, I'm not even friends with the girl she did that to. The point is she did it. So.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the girl that she did that to creeps me out, but that's not the point. I don't know. I was always a strange person, like a strange kid, even when I was little, though.
I'm back. Who's front?
I was a fucking weird. I said I was a fucking weirdo. I was a weirdo, okay?
Nothing wrong with being a weirdo.
What did I just walk back into?
Nothing. I just said I was a weird kid.
I think everyone's a weirdo to a certain extent. It's just different kind of. Yeah. There is no normal. Everyone's kind of weird. Yeah.
I
don't know.
Little man. My interests are vast. My tastes are strange sometimes.
My interests are vast, but there are some things I have no interest in whatsoever. Do you have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Philosophy. Yeah. Space. Yeah. Yeah. But it's good to be weird in that way. Wanting more knowledge. Yeah.
For me, it's like building a computer or computer coding. I just don't care. I don't care. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things I can learn about, and I could learn about coding, but I'm just like, I don't. Why? So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even in certain even like I might be interested in like okay, so I'm interested in technology, but there's just certain things in technology I have absolutely no interest in. I don't want to learn anything about it. I don't even care that it exists. Just
Okay,
nothing.
well, I do care that it exists. See, like a computer is a great example. I think how somebody compiled the information to build one of these, how those discoveries were made, that is fascinating, right? I think that is fascinating. What it's capable of, what we have learned from it, also fascinating. But do I want to learn how to code the damn thing? Nope, zero interest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there are so many things that you could be interested in and learn about. You can only do so many things. So there must be a
Yeah.
lot of things that, yeah, it's just,
Hey, Pixie, can I just say that, like, one of the few times I saw you and Tog had a conversation, it felt like I was like standing at the edge of like a a really tall building looking over for some weird reason. It's like, are they gonna explode? Are they gonna explode? No, no, they're not. Oh shit, looks like they're gonna explode. I don't know
Okay.
why. It was just this like weird, super fun, like
No, it's because I have to be careful, and here's why. I accidentally step on people's toes all the time. And it's not that I do it on purpose. It's that I I don't hold many things sacred, right? And because I don't hold many things sacred, there isn't much that is like super serious or taboo to me, right? Does that make sense? But
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
that doesn't apply to everybody. And so in my mind, I'm having a casual conversation, right? But in the mind of somebody who like takes these things seriously or holds some part of this sacred, I have a tendency to come across like very flippant. Does that make sense? Now,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
I don't think of Tog negatively in any manner. I don't disrespect his beliefs, and I don't want him to think I do just because I don't hold them or because I question them or because I think some of the concepts don't make sense, right? Like I don't, and so it's this fine line, right? Like I don't,
you appreciate the fact that he's willing to think out the box because that's what I
right.
love with him the most. He
yeah,
thinks out of the box, like regardless of like his position.
He does. I
yeah.
like Tog, and I don't want him to feel like I'm disrespecting him.
Nah,
But
he.
I'm
By the
also,
way,
but
he
I'm
never said
also,
anything like that to me.
but
Just to
I'm also
clarify.
fishing for information. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. He never said anything like bad or anything like that about you. I was just reflecting briefly on the last time I saw you guys spoke, and it was a very interesting experience listening to the conversation.
Yeah, I had the same experience on Aces earlier today. Yeah, I had the thought and I wanted to criticize his way of thinking and his religion, but I didn't know how to put it in a polite way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But
It's
it's not even, it's, here's the thing. It's not even like trying to be polite. Like I joke that sometimes I don't have a filter and it's like, it never even occurs to me that it is something that can be offensive to you until somebody points out that you're offended.
yeah,
And then I'm like, oh, that's not how I meant it, right? But it's because I speak about it so casually, because to me it is casual, right? But it comes across very flippant to somebody who that's not a casual conversation, that's serious, right? And so I don't like, and when I respect somebody, I don't, it's weird because I don't want them to feel like I disrespect them or their religion. I don't. Oh, it's a fine line. But yeah, I think probably because we're both kind of hyperactive, maybe in a way too.
He
And
has a hyperactive brain.
yeah, I do too. And I like chase rabbit trails a lot.
Yep, same with him.
Right.
That's see, it's
So
so
I think
funny.
that's the concern. That the concern is like one of these times they're gonna like split on that rabbit trail, and there's gonna be like miscommunication, right?
Yep. That's why I described it as like standing at the top of a building at the edge, just like looking over. It's like, oh,
Like, ah, oh, please. Wait, he's going the other way. He's going the other way.
he's going the other way.
Yeah.
But do you not, and this might be controversial, do you not think that's, and I don't want to group myself in, do you not think that's just intelligent people that do that overthink things and worry about what other people, which shouldn't be a bad thing, do you know what I mean?
It's not, but my problem is like I have no organization with it, right? Like how do I explain this? Being in my head is like 1,000 ping pong balls just jumping everywhere all the time. And I can grab one and I can run with it, but all those other ones, they're still jumping around, right? It's not like they all went still because I grabbed one. And so the problem is even while I'm talking, even while I'm holding on to that ping pong ball, there's all these others bouncing around and I'm going, ooh, and I wonder how this relates to that. And then if I take this to this from there, and what if he says this? Would it change that? Would I go somewhere else? Right. And so I've got like all this stuff going on. And so I get ahead of myself when I talk, but also like when I hear the answer, it's already branching out again. It's like, okay, I could take that answer here, 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 but they may already be going somewhere else. And the problem is when they've already taken it somewhere else and I'm going somewhere completely different because it's not organized.
I have like a I have a very abstract but systematic way of thinking, right? Like if I come across an idea or a concept that's like abstract, my brain automatically wants to kind of set it up in like a neat system. And I do that like via creating like a network of like these colorful bricks. Um, and they all like kind of connect in different ways. Yeah, that's pretty much how my brain thinks.
Yeah, you are very, very intelligent. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I don't necessarily think that I'm smart, to be honest. I think it's just a situation where I just ended up learning some tools that allow me to um, think a little bit more efficiently in terms of how I process
Okay,
the data that I receive, probably.
okay, but mine's a little bit different. It's like, okay, think of a really over the top old like detective movie, right? Like
Oh,
there's a
Columbo.
like
Columbo.
there's a conspiracy going on, right? And okay, so in my mind, right? Let's picture it's a whole process and we got to picture it like this. When I'm interacting with people, it's like the team going out there and collecting all the data and taking all the pictures and doing all of the surveillance and doing all the investigating, right? Like that's my interaction, right? It's not until I'm sitting by myself that I actually start organizing all of that.
Yeah.
Now, even then though, it's almost an organized chaos because it's going to look a lot like that conspiracy board with the red yarn everywhere, right? I have this piece of information from this perspective and this piece of information from this perspective, but they both relate to this piece of information I got a long time ago from way over there, right? And I'm pulling in all the correlations and I'm piecing in all these different things together from all these various aspects. And so it's something I do alone. That's after everybody's already exited the room, right? That's after the investigation's over. But B,
That's
like it's going to look like the conspiracy board, right? It's going to be tangled in and I am going to trace how it relates to all the other information from all the other times in my past, and that's how I'm going to piece it together. And it's just going to be this little, and then I'm going to keep going. And if I have to come back in 20 years and move some of those threads, I will, right? But like I don't know. Like even at organized, it's more organized chaos.
Yeah, but that's a common sign. Like I'll speak for me. Yeah, you think about conversations before you have them, and then you think about them after. That's like a very common sign of yeah, like a intelligent person. Do you know what I mean? I think most people don't do that, so it's not a bad thing. But I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
decompressing. It's like going out to go watch a movie with your friends, and then afterwards y'all all go to like Denny's or something like that and talk about the film. What happens, you know.
Yeah.
I often find that like I'll be in situations and be hanging out with people, and then later on, after I've left the conversation, I think of like something really funny that I should have said, or maybe I'll think of a better way to explain something, but I always think of it
Self-reflection.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing is, yeah, worrying about how you think and how it comes across to other people. I have the same problem. Yeah, like
I think
yeah,
I think my problem, Pixie, well, I wouldn't necessarily describe it as a problem. It depends. So me and Pixie are profilers, right? Like
yeah.
the second I start having a conversation with you, I start building a profile of
But again, that goes into the problem I'm having. But that goes into my title. But exactly. But that goes into my title and the problem I'm having, Odin. Like
Building a profile.
Well, I do naturally profile people. Like it's this like you can think we're having a conversation about the weather or something trivial when I first meet you, and that's fine. But I am paying attention to not just what you're saying and how you're saying it, but the specific word choices you're making, your body language while you're making it. Like I am breaking everything down. Um and but see, therein lies part of the problem, right? If the first word in my title and the last word in my title both mean thinking or thoughts, but they're two different kind of thoughts. One of them I am really good at. That's the like exploring and like learning and absorbing information. That's that one. That's the first one. I'm great at communicating that. Okay? It's not that I'm bad at the second one, it's that I never communicate the second one. And the second one is thoughts, but it's linked to your actual decisions and opinions. And that's the part of me I don't actually tend to share. People think I do because I participate in these conversations, right? But in a way, I feel like I'm misrepresenting me because a lot of times I may not even be arguing from my perspective. A lot of times I'm taking the perspective not taken in the room. A lot of times I'm taking the perspective that's outnumbered in the room. And again, it goes back to that profiling. It's because more than I'm interested in your opinions, right? Because your opinions aren't going to sway me. They're not going to influence me. They're not even going to change my mind on anything. What could influence me or change my mind is how you process that opinion and the reasoning behind that opinion, right? And that's usually what I'm after on either side. But I think
Yeah.
in the end, that almost misrepresents me, or it creates a space where people think they know things they don't know at the very least.
Yeah, I know you're not familiar with Matt Dillahunter, but he says the same thing. I'm not so concerned with what you believe; it's why you believe it,
Yep.
which is fair, yeah, which is fair enough.
Yep, it's the same with me. I'm not like, even if you like straight up lie to me, I don't half the time I'm really not even gonna care about the fact that you lie to me. I expect that. I expect humans to lie. It's I'm just more concerned with why. Like, what's the motivation?
Yeah, the reason behind it is the most important part. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't it? I wouldn't even say it's that I lie, right? Like I've never stuck around so much. I go in, I get other people to make friends, and I get some information and I leave, right? Like that's the pattern. But I
Friends.
haven't
What are
but I
those?
Yeah. But that, again, that's fair enough.
but I haven't left yet, so it creates a unique problem this time.
Oh, yeah, I can answer that one as well, I think. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I kind of get bored with the religious discussion and that. But the people I've met, do you know what I mean? The nice people to talk to, like, oh, you go folks and everyone. Yeah, that's what. But that's not like
It's
just.
not even that. Like I've said before, like in passing, that I have like severe trust issues, and I do. So what I tend to do is I find a group that interests me in one way or another, and then I participate and I have some fun, and I like to build connections between other people, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, I've put myself on the outside enough that I just kind of wander off, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
I wouldn't.
I fade away, and then I go build more bridges. But the thing is, I've stayed here a while, and the problem is I haven't left, right? And now all these people
No,
have
sorry, but
all they think
no.
they know what I think, and for the first time ever, it's bothering me.
But you know, I'm over argumentative and all that. But yeah, that's not a problem. You find a community, you like some or most of the people in it, and you want. I wouldn't just say
Mm,
talk to them.
I
Or
don't
even
know,
if
because
not interested
I
in the
don't
topic.
I,
Yeah.
I see, and
So,
that's another struggle. That's another struggle, because even though I like the community and even though I like most of the people in it, right? Like, I have like severe trust issues, and B, I can't pretend like some people in the community haven't like really pushed those trust issue buttons.
yeah. But it right, yeah. But it goes back to what I was saying, and I can't do it either. But I think everyone should not worry about what other people think because you can't affect it. So you shouldn't let it. And I can't do it either. But you should try to not worry about what other people think about
It's
anything
not
or
it's not
anything.
that it's not that I worry about what they think. It's
Yeah,
that they how do I explain it?
misrepresent you. They misrepresent you. So they're saying to other people what they think that you said or think, and they're getting it wrong. Yeah.
Well, it's not just that, they tell me what I think, and that's really weird. Like they think they know better than me, and that is
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, that is annoying.
Yeah, I sometimes I hate my eyes because I see way more than I want to or need to.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like half the time when I see certain things, like I choose to not say anything mainly because the way how I kind of look at it is, it's none of my business. So, but at the same time, I kind of want to say something. So,
Well, I don't know. Like
so
I
I
don't.
just I just do my best to not
Yeah.
Well, I
to
try.
This
I
is
try.
perfect.
I try
This,
not to say anything. A, because I have trust issues, and B, because if somebody needs a loudspeaker, they can find one. I don't need to be that, right? But like to the point where, well, I don't think I should say that on live. Go ahead, Wild.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I've decided recently not to give a shit about much. anyway, so it makes it kind of easier, you
I
know, when yeah, I want to say the wrong thing that will offend them, but I've held back in the past. But yeah, I think
I wouldn't say I don't give a shit. I think I'm used to not giving a shit, and
Yeah.
I do care a little bit now, and that might be bothering me. But how do I explain that without saying what I didn't want to say a while ago? I guess
100%.
some people broke my trust enough that I have at least decided that with very little exception, I no longer have energy for people who don't have energy for me.
Yeah, but my main problem with that, and I'm not gonna mention any names or anything, but anyone who's going through that is you should, because like one or two people like disagree with you and upset you, you shouldn't let it like block you from talking to the other people that you like. You know what I
I'm
mean?
still okay. I'm still talking to the other people.
Yeah.
It may change how open I am in a particular conversation,
Yeah.
but it doesn't prevent me from talking to people.
You shouldn't lose out on anything because of that. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't. Yeah. You shouldn't be worse off because of that.
I'm
Just
not. I think
do something.
I have a tendency to work myself into a place where I'm worse off if I continually give people energy who don't have any energy for me, or if I continually write off the thing that keeps breaking my trust over and over and over again, right? Like I think that would be worse for me.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you're like a whole community, so anyone is in a community of like 50 people, and like one or two people.
Oh, who the hell said I liked 50 people?
No, I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
I'm just saying this is hypothetical. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, just because like one or two people like annoy you, it shouldn't stop you from having the good things about the other 48 people or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't inhibit you from enjoying what you just ignore the two people. And again, I'm trying to give advice, but I can't sit to it myself. But I know what you're talking about. It's just yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, and that is the best. That's probably the best thing to do. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's tricky.
I don't know. I've been pretty reclusive, but it's not all because of this stuff. Like I have other stuff going on, right? Like mom has chemo once a week and I take her to that, and got a bunch of other stuff going on, and I'm still struggling with Super Munchkin not being here. It's just a lot. I have a lot going on. It's not all about here, but with
Yeah,
everything going on, I definitely it's a good time to decide that I do not have energy for people who do not have energy for me.
yeah.
With a little exception, because I'm stubborn and there's a couple of people in this world I won't give up on. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a good time to do that, I guess. So it
Yeah.
works.
I'm glad
Which is
you
fine.
do give some time because like really I do get some social interaction, especially like at the place that I'm getting to jam at, but like I try to make connections with people and it's pretty difficult. Like I don't know. I really appreciate having some people to relate to. Thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of this.
Well,
Yeah,
now that
that's
my
Man,
internet
bro.
is fixed and hopefully stays fixed, I should be doing a few more.
yeah. And you've October. Yeah. You're cool. And yeah.
Always welcome in my space.
I
Thank you.
have see, I like limited. So for me, it's not about how much interaction, it's the quality of the interaction that I appreciate the most.
Yeah.
You know, um, like I could the amount of time that I could sit and speak to someone doesn't really matter. Like I can sit and talk to like a 90-year-old and like listen to their whole life story for hours, right? Because it's a quality conversation, versus like being in a group and it's not necessarily about like having small talk. It's just like people just having stupid surface level conversations where nothing is edifying or interesting. Um, and I'm not saying you need to have that in order to like maintain a good friendship, because none of my friends in real life talk about any of the things that I talk about on here. They're
Yeah.
very simple, normal people, right? Um, but what I appreciate about them the most is the fact that they are good, considerate and caring and loving people.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting to have like deep conversations half the time with them.
But
No.
see, that's where it gets difficult for me because part of me wants to have conversations with the people that I trust, right?
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, no, you stick to exploration and exploration only because person A, B, and C are in the room.
Hmm.
That's what I find limiting. That's what I have to figure out. And that's not on anybody but me, and I'm not pretending it is.
Yeah. Because like a friend of mine wanted to read a poem that I wrote, right? The person likes the poem, and they're like, knowing you, there's some like whole, you know, deeper explanation to it. I was like, yeah, but you'll probably fall asleep if I were to explain it. So just enjoy it for what it is. Something nice that's, you know,
Yeah.
a nice brief experience into someone's mind,
Yeah.
right? You're like, no, I want to know more. And I was like, okay. And I go into like this long explanation and like I have no idea you were even into like you thought that deeply about any of this stuff and blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, exactly. This is why this is why you should just enjoy it for what it is, you know?
Yeah, but they wouldn't ask more questions if they weren't interested. You know what I mean? That's cool. Yeah, like writing a poem and reading it to someone. But if they ask more questions, they must be interested in it. They want to know the answers.
I mean,
So
sure, but I think maybe the person was asking to be like socially polite, to be fair.
yeah.
Um, but to like I didn't want to say no just to say no. But I said, okay, I mean, if you want to hear, I'll kind of explain the purpose behind it all. But it's like once the explanation starts happening, they're like their eyes are like glazed over. It's just like not knowing what it's almost like I'm speaking a completely different language, you know. And so it's
But
just go ahead.
yeah, but again, that's not anything you should worry about or not your fault. If someone says yes, I want the explanation to this, and I want to, and then you give it to them, and that's not a problem with you. I would say that's more a problem with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was fun given the explanation and seen the look on their face. I will say that, you know. But what I try to do, even though it's not like super, it's not easy to do that, but like to write for the, I guess, the simpleton and to write for the philosopher,
Yeah.
like it's not super easy to do that, because like to write for the simpleton, he has to be able to grip them, right? And
Yeah.
and it has to be able to do so at face value. Whereas the philosopher, you have to grip them at face value while have them consider a deeper understanding.
Yeah. It's like never being a simpleton and not being one in the past. You can't like kind of predict, well, what will they understand and what will they want. So,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
And I mean, the goal is to not necessarily like kind of 100% project my thoughts 100% in terms of like a deeper meaning. It's more so to get people thinking about what it could mean, because it's art at the end of the day, and I like the idea that people can see art and relate to it in one way, right? Um, or some other way that's like completely different than me.
Well, I
I'm
told
I'm
you
okay
why
with that
I stopped explaining my pieces, right?
because they're dark and evil, and the world is gonna end. I'm kidding.
Because they are dark. Well, not all of them are dark. Most of them are dark, but they're very heavy in symbolism. And I wrote a piece about
Don't kick me, Pixie.
I wrote a piece about nonconformity, and I let somebody read it, and they were very highly agitated. And they asked me why I wrote a poem about suicide, and I said, but it's not about
It's
suicide.
not about suicide.
And then they argued with me over what I wrote the damn poem about. So I was like, that's enough of that shit.
Yeah. So, I was just gonna say, I can understand that problem. I think it's just different people have different brains. Like I can't understand metaphors or like poetry. You know, when they're using metaphors, I'm not
Yeah.
always sure. Yeah,
Yes, you can, and I'm gonna prove you can. You ready?
yeah. Pixie
Hold
proves me
on.
wrong.
I am going to prove you can, but I have to go to where do I have to go to? Hold on. Keep saying what you're saying, and I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like people have different brains, and it's not necessarily how intelligent you are. It's just like different kind of brains. They can understand some things and not some things, but they're
Okay.
different things. So yeah.
I'm gonna read something, and I don't need you to break it down line by line or anything like that.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I want you to tell me what you think it's about.
Oh, this will be good.
Okay?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Blind and deaf for far too long, an empty smile, a hollow song. Spoiled lands and tainted seas, soured wind through rusted leaves. Bitter rain from poisoned skies, wounded waves fall and rise. Blackened suns and fields of red, a shadowed moon almost dead. Wilted vines and venomous streams break along the faltered seams. Secrets destroyed and beauty devoured, the dwarf remains of those that towered. 1,000 wonders annihilated, millions of spirits suffocated. For noble cause of righteous deed, our dearest weep, our dearest bleed. Consuming flames and pointed blades, innocence dissolves and hope fades. Stripped of all that was once adored by splintered edge and jagged sword. Battered, beaten, bruised, and torn, allowed no time to grieve or mourn. Whipped and tortured, forever maimed, scars from battles still unnamed. Silent tears and whispered cries, unheard among the many lies. A breathless form no longer free, still holding the ashes of a broken key. What's it about?
Yeah. This is what I mean. That's a beautiful poem, but like the deeper meaning, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But
I'm gonna give you I'm
probably,
gonna give you a hint when you read something like this. Okay.
yeah.
Most of this is painting a picture in your mind, and all you need to do is picture the words that I'm saying. The
Yeah.
only lines in this entire poem that is not painting a picture in your mind and telling you what it's about are these. You ready?
Yeah.
For noble cause of righteous deed, our dearest weep, our dearest bleed. What's another line? Secrets destroyed and beauty devoured, a dwarf remains of those that towered. Or scars
Again?
from, huh?
No, it's just like I realize that it's beautiful poetry.
No, it's not beautiful.
But,
It's actually very sad. Forget the rhyming, forget all of that. Listen to the words, okay?
it can be sad as well, but it's I can't lose it. It's the metaphor and I just don't. But
Okay, just
just
take one line. Just take one line. A dwarf remains of those that towered. What does that mean?
see, I take things very literally, like a
Yes,
dwarf.
literally. What does that mean? A dwarf remains of those that towered.
Ah, yeah, people bigger than you. A dwarf remained that.
Of
Yeah.
those that towered.
That's
Now put that on a bigger scale. If it's not person to person, but if it's government to government, a dwarf remains of those that towered.
Yeah.
Now
So
pair that line with of righteous cause, of noble deed, our dearest weep, our dearest bleed. What am I painting?
now you mentioned governments, I'm thinking a country that creates a lot of like agricultural things.
War. It's about war.
War.
Yeah,
For noble
natives.
cause of righteous deed, our dearest weep, our dearest bleed.
Yeah.
A dwarf remains of those that tower.
But I will never get that. Yeah. But
Why?
no, just I'm just saying people have different kind of brains.
Yeah.
Like Odin got that. I would never get that. So, but you can't worry about other people's brains and how they. Yeah. You shouldn't affect your behavior.
So what you can
That's how
do.
I write though. A lot of my stuff is very.
Oh, was that you?
That was me. Yeah, I wrote that.
Yeah.
That was one of mine. Yeah.
So one of the things that you can do. So the good thing about what Pixie did with that poem is that it's directly painting a picture. So that's why she suggested like every single thing, every single stanza, you 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 visualize it in your head. And when you visualize it and you keep stitching it together, like eventually you kind of see the full picture.
But it wasn't any specific war, right? It's all wars,
Yeah.
which is probably what made it more confusing to him because I've gone from swords to a reference to nuclear bombs. Bitter rain from poison skies is a reference to the nuclear bomb.
No, I think it's just different kinds of minds. Like I have a very literal. So until someone explains a metaphor to me, I'm just not. And it goes for anyone with that kind of. It's not your problem if you write a poem and other people don't. I mean,
Not all of them are like that. Some of them are very straightforward, and you would understand them no problem. But a lot of them have symbolism. Yeah.
Yeah, but you shouldn't worry about what I think or what anyone thinks. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't affect that. If you write a poem, some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. Some people are going to understand it. So if you write a poem, that's just what's going to happen.
Before I go to bed, you want to hear the one
Oh,
they said
sorry.
they said was about suicide?
Yeah.
Bring it on.
This is the one they said was about suicide that I say is not about suicide. Okay. Buried in the silence, a mist and all the rage, doubt and fear have twisted and locked me in this cage. The questions in my dreams are haunting me, clouding my vision till I no longer see. I look into the distance to see the smallest shimmer. I thought it was salvation, but the light is growing dimmer. Alone in the dark, my body feeding on its own decay, all signs of life are slipping away. And I don't know who I am anymore. I can't think for myself. I'm the glass doll staring at you from the shelf. And I can't save myself or be strong for you. I don't even know how I'm going to pull through. So stop patronizing me because I'm tired of listening. I don't believe you and I'm tired of pretending. Dreams are diminishing and hope is fleeing. So tell me, what good is believing? I tried too hard, I tried too long. Now all that's left is this empty song. My heavy soul with my mind weaves, waiting to die like the autumn leaves. It's getting harder to breathe now, trying to escape with no idea how. A few whispered words into the unrelenting sea. I no longer want you to rescue me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take everything back I said before. I totally understood that. It might just be the subject matter then. Yeah. And how well you understand it. Yeah, I got that one. Which was also very good, but yeah.
I did write a theological critique recently because in one of the studies that I was doing that I'm not gonna read because unless like I guess if you're super into certain theological themes in Christianity, none of it's gonna really make sense. Um, but like I like I like the idea. I love the idea of us being able to really like kind of put these thoughts out in our head and in ways that other people can relate to directly or indirectly, right? Or to even just like distract them, right? Um, I I like putting people's thoughts, like thought processes to good use. I don't know why. I just really, really love having that ability.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better if you put something like that out and then even if one person out of 100 understands it and gets that's better than not putting it out at all. You know what I mean? I'm
I don't.
agreeing.
I guess it depends on why you write it, right? Like most of my work, I don't actually show people. And when I do show people, I only show a very, very few people, right? Like it's not like if any of my stuff ever ended up published, it would be after I died because it wouldn't be me doing it. I don't write it for other people. I write it because it's something that I enjoy doing and sometimes it's
Yeah,
pretty cathartic. Like
yeah,
I wrote one about my grandmother, right? Like things like that. Like it's almost cathartic. And I
yeah.
guess like I would I don't know. And I guess part of the reason it's cathartic is because I can release thoughts, but I can release thoughts
Yeah.
in a way that doesn't like it's only personal to me. Nobody else sees what it's tied to.
Yeah, but that's good as well. So you get personal benefit out of it, whether you release it or not. So yeah,
Look, I
that's
just read 2 of them on live, so that's good enough.
yeah, and yeah, they were very very good. Like yeah,
Can I try one?
Yeah.
I think let me see here. I'll try this one uh with Wild Heart. I'm not gonna pick anything too long.
that yeah, that might be tricky, but yeah, wouldn't rely on my answer to it, or you know.
Yeah, I have quite a few. Let's see here. That
Hey, while you're looking for one, it's
Mhm.
interesting. This little book right here, um, I'm inside of a storage unit, and people will abandon things, and this booklet is like empty except for the first page, and it's a poem. This is not me. This is from somebody I have no idea who it is, but they left this behind. She played me songs about snow-covered hills and country boots. If I didn't have her in my life, what would I do? She cultivated the best in me, the worst parts too. Darkness and sadness, we seen it all, and we made it through. And the way this is written, it makes me think it's from a female. It's
Yeah,
got that bubbly kind of writing that's kind of halfway cursive, but it
I
seems
like
like
it.
I so do I, and I didn't rip out the page. I was like, I'm gonna leave that in there, and I'm keeping a diary in it now. But
All right, y'all ready?
yeah,
Pixie already know this one. Okay, so this one is called The Sincere. Woe to those who are not self-aware, quick with wit, actions they know no fair. Belair, they shouted, going through the year, as they trample all in their path while others stare. With a specific flair, they are bombastic in their existence as their vision is clear. They are who they are, so are they sincere? Woe to the aware natured, though you are fair, for their quick wit and actions are formed without fear. You don't breathe Belair as you live through the year. You must move so not to be trampled as you stare. You hate the bombastic existence cloaked in unearned fear, being jealous of their vision, which is unabashedly clear. You know what you are not, and that makes you sincere, for being aware induces empathy for the sincerely unaware.
yeah, that was good. Yeah, yeah. The first part I would say is talking about trying to read other people's personality and are they being sincere? If the yeah,
Yeah. So it's like you look at people who are just kind of like, you know, they're going through their life, not really seemingly, as for at least from your perspective, they're not thinking about much. They're just kind of like doing,
yeah,
right? Not much thinking going on. And so you can get the impression that they might not they're not being sincere, right? Um
yeah,
but you kind of realize that, okay, since you're the person who is aware, right, you should be more empathetic because
yeah,
these people, they are sincere in how
mhm,
they're being, but while you at the same time, you're sincere at the fact that you are aware. These people aren't aware, right? But by nature of not being aware, they are sincere.
yeah, yeah. See, yeah, I don't know what I was talking about, but that made perfect sense to me. Yeah, like your mental capacity. Like if someone's not aware and they don't understand something, are they being sincere? If they don't understand it, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a deep thinking person, right? Like you're looking at things from your perspective, right? And you're like, how could he not get this? How could he not? You see what I'm saying? It's kind
Yeah.
of like, because, me and Pixie have had plenty of conversations, for example, about like having faith and belief and stuff like that, right? And like, from my perspective, it ain't hard. From her perspective, it's something that's hard, that's not easily attained. And so it's sincere. She's being sincere. I don't understand it, right? Because my brain is different, but she is being sincere. But how
Yeah.
do I know that she's been sincere? It's because of the empathy that I have, right?
Yeah.
Where someone who does not think too deeply, right, might look at my circumstance and wonder, like, why do I even think this? Why do I even need to think this deeply about anything?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like a trait of empathy, right? But I'm putting the responsibility on the person who is aware
Yeah.
to be, um, empathetic and accept that this other person is being sincere. That's the point of that particular poem. It's a strange one. Uh, People who have read it who don't um, engage in a lot of deep thinking, they just find it to be really funny.
Yeah. 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 No,
Right.
I got that. Yeah. Yeah. It's and I would say it's best. Like I said, you can't control what other people think, and you shouldn't let it. Like if you told that poem to 10 people, and one person got it, or 100 or 1,000 people, and one person got it, do you know what I mean? It's still worth putting out there because you'll help one person, and the other just either won't understand it or won't. Yeah, yeah, but I got that. Yeah,
It's not why I don't put it out there, though. Like, look here, I'll read one that there is no questioning whatsoever. Nobody can get it wrong at
I'll
all.
try my best. I'll try my best.
Let's see, where
Is
is
Sylvan
it?
frozen?
No, I'm here.
Oh shit!
Oh, I just scrolled past two that I'm so proud of. And I'm so proud of those because if you notice, I naturally rhyme. And these are the only two poems I have that don't rhyme.
Yes,
And it was a lot. Like it was way harder than rhyming for me. I'll show you those at some point, but they're not happy. Okay, here's one you cannot misconstrue. It's about my grandmother. I am a daughter of the land. I love the wind in my face and the feel of the sand. I walk among the trees and thank them for their shade. I lay in the grass and watch the day fade. I smile at the stars winking at me. I am mesmerized by the birds soaring free. I listen to the voices the wind brings and watch the waves dance as the ocean sings. I am a daughter of the land, and I am surrounded by nature's orchestra band. I hear the roaring laughter of the storm's thunder, and I dance in the life it spills under. I delight in the conversations of sun and moon, and I am balanced by their ever changing tune. I'm enthralled by the desert's inconsistent form and the mountain's deceitful illusion of constant norm. I am a daughter of the land. I've seen its face and held its hand. I've seen its smiles and its tears. I've dreamed its hopes and its fears. I know the earth is alive. I've seen it die and watched it thrive. I've walked barefoot in its simple dirt streets and felt its different heartbeats.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even I understood that. That was very, very good. Yeah, yeah. It's about nature and like trusting in nature and being awed by nature, and
My grandmother
that's-
was very native. Yes.
but that doesn't mean that someone else might not understand it. But yeah,
I don't know. I think that one's pretty hard to misunderstand. My other two, though, I don't think either of them are happy, but I'm so proud of them because they're the only two I have that don't rhyme.
yeah.
I got let's see. I got one. Pixie liked this one. A lot of people like this one actually. So let's see if Wildheart can get this one. It's more so trying to answer a question, and I'm gonna try to guide you to see if I can get the answer. All right, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So this poem was called "What Is It?" It can't exist with omniscience, though not as great.
God.
It is what gives us.
No, sorry. Sorry.
It can't exist with omniscience, though not as great. It is what gives us strength when fighting hate. In a weakened state, it can keep us strong. It transcends all logic, irrational in nature, especially when we are sprung. We are filled with it while approaching a crush. With love being the goal, we'll get an exhilarating rush. It also manifests when building trust. It is what we hold on to, whether it's for money, love, or love. You need it to achieve miracles, no matter how rare. But once experienced, you have the urge to share. You know what it is. It's at the tip of your mental tongue. If we use it together, we can become one. It helps to create heroes, both weak and strong. Hidden or known, they deserve a historical song. In a sea of despair and sorrow, it keeps us afloat. When love and bravery fails, we turn to
God.
no hope.
Oh. No, that was very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn it, man. Oh, you put faith. B.S. Lewis put faith.
But the whole poem was about God. Am I right there?
No, it's about hope.
It's about hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Here, you can't.
Just like-
Okay, you can't get this one wrong. I don't think. Not if you listen. And this is one that doesn't rhyme. So
I
that'll
think
help.
I'm enjoying this too much.
Yeah, I just want to get it clear in my head. The first like omniscient. I just want to work out is hope omniscient. What was the first line again, Batman? Sorry, this is me being stupid. So.
Oh, it says it can't exist with omniscience, though not as great. It is what gives us strength when fighting hate.
It can't exist. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I disagree, but I don't want to. Carry on.
Hope can't exist with omniscience because if you have omniscience, you know what's going to happen.
Or can't exist without.
Yeah, can't exist with omniscience.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, without. Can't exist with omniscience. Without. With it.
That was the first curveball I threw in there because, like B.S. Lewis put out there, he put faith.
Yeah, see, yeah, I think that's just proved the point. Some people can't, yeah, just won't get it.
Yes, you can. Okay, here, this one does
No,
not.
I'm just saying, like, some people, yeah.
This
just
one
no
does
matter
not.
what.
Yeah,
So.
well, I guess that's true. On that, actually, it is almost 1:30, and I should probably go to bed looking at the time.
But Mom.
Yeah, we gotta finish this poem. This next one, please. 5 minutes.
Okay, this one's super, super obvious, okay? I cry and scream, I'm angry now, angry to numb the pain, and sad. You promised. Never again. Not this rage, but you did. Then you forget again. You scream and slash and swing, and here comes the swelling, the blood and bruises too, but more than that, you wounded me. Killed my hope and my faith, my heart, and you forget again. I lie here now alone and still, silent, afraid to move. You're breathing heavier now, gone again, and I can relax and drift away to find you the way you used to be. And I forget again. The sun is back, your arms are around me, full of love, no trace of bitter words. I cannot tell you. See you hurt. It's done. No scars yet. Bruises fade, cuts heal. You say you love me, and oh, to hear those words once more, and I forget again.
That was brilliant. And I understood it as well. Yeah. So I think, yeah, like some people will, like different poems. I understood, not just me. I mean, some people. I understood some of them and not others. So yeah, and yeah. So if you, yeah, some people are gonna understand it and some people aren't. That's just that's fine. But that was very good. So, yeah,
That one was obvious. It's an abusive relationship.
yeah.
Invoking feelings. To be loved. What a fucking great thing that feels like. I miss it.
Oh, I don't know. That was an abusive relationship, though.
Oh yeah. No, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
that last line. See, that's the thing too about poetry is the how it can make you feel and like the way you can end up relating to it. You
And
might be able
here's
to understand where the other person is coming from, but you can have a different perspective. It brings up different memories for you, the
Yeah.
sound of those words or reading those words.
oh, it's not letting me copy it. Yeah, I get you. There's one
Yeah.
I would show you right now just because of what you said earlier. I don't know if you'd relate to it. I guess I relate it to you, but it's not letting me copy it and it's driving me. Why can't I copy my own fucking work? Hold on, I'll just screenshot it.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good point. So yeah, it's like your own life experiences and whether you relate to it or not will also affect it. Yeah, yeah,
It affects your perspective on things. It
yeah,
does.
yeah. So different people are, they relate to it and they've experienced that thing in the past. So it's not necessarily down to intelligence or it's just yeah.
I wrote some poetry before I moved to Austin, but like the challenge with it was to like I looked up what makes up a limerick. I looked up what makes up an ode. I looked up all the different types of poetry like haiku and things like that, and then went to town, you know, using those structures to create some poems.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh no. I can't screenshot it because it'll give away where it's at, and that has other writing that I don't want to share.
Yeah, don't lock yourself. Yeah.
Well, it's under a different name, and I don't want to give it away. Plus, it's on a site that, like, nobody really uses unless you're into writing. So, like, I don't want to give away where it is. Okay, there's 2 poems. And one is by me and one is not by me, and I'm going to read them both, and then I'm going to go to bed. Okay. The first one is called Breathe, and that one's mine. It's the only other poem I have that doesn't rhyme. Breathe, inhale the world, all its colors and joy, all its beauty and hope. Breathe in the flowers, the smile, the power. Take in its history, its laughter, and breathe deep. Hold in the oceans, the smell of the snow. Drink the rain and the great wonders. Inhale the sights. Breathe in the world. Inhale disease and take in poverty. Breathe in death and hate, murder, rape, and greed. Hold in hunger, abandonment, neglect. Breathe deep. Inhale tears, sorrow, despair, and rage. Breathe in vengeance. Drink the darkness. Drink the fear. Do all of this and do it well. Absorb everything. Don't blink. Let it seep into you, run through your mind. Breathe it in. Breathe without prejudice, without ignorance. Don't look away. Be accountable. Look again and breathe. Don't back down. And then remember everything.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, if I can find this poem.
Yeah, that was actually very, yeah, that was really good.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm talking to myself. That was good.
Okay. Now, this poem is done by a writer friend of mine. I love his work. I so hope he publishes. And this poem is called How to Kill a Dragon Slayer. Beneath the live oaks and the green vegetation of old New Orleans, in a place where the bells and whistles of commerce are memories of an ancient time, a warm breeze blows off of the Mississippi. I recall days spent with friends, loved ones, loved and friends lost, and nights on bourbon. I was a different person then, barely a man, and in reflection, innocent for the last time. I had never lived like that before, nor do I believe I will ever live like that again. Hot blood ran through my veins, and I could have conquered the world, and there were times I thought maybe I had. It was a time when girls were named after flowers and bars never closed, a time when I was never closed. It was a time before alarm clocks and dead ends and safety nets and bills, a time when my legs had the strength to hold the weight of the world on my broad shoulders. I feel narrower now and cynical. I choose reality over dreams, and the weight of the world shifted and broke my back and buckled my legs. My eyes are older now and broken and can no longer look forward, no. Now they can only look back, back to times when I slayed dragons and could drink all night in celebration and love like my life depended on it. Now I see. The irony is that it did.
That was very good. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. It's about like getting old. And you get more cynical,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was very good.
I love that piece.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Those are all good ones. Very good, y'all. Excellent.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off and go get some sleep. It's always a pleasure, Pixie. Mr. Tobin, Mr. Wildheart.
Good to see you. That was a pleasure.
And
Yeah, and I should do the same as well. Thank you, Pixie. Thank you, Tobin. Batman, and anyone who's watching. Thank
As
you all.
always, as
That was it.
always, thank you all for being here. We should do this again soon. And good night, pretty shiny peoples.
What about the dark people?